Hello, everybody. Hey, I'm excited, aren't you? Yeah. No, I'm not excited. It's getting to be Christmas. I'm excited that tomorrow is Turkey Day. Turkey Day. Yeah, we all know what that means. Lots of sweet potatoes, lots of turkey, lots of stuffing and gravy, lots of pumpkin pie, all that good stuff. Yeah. It, tell the truth, I do get excited about Christmas coming too, but first, you got to get together with Thanksgiving, get together with the family. It's going to be a little smaller around the table this year, just our closest family members. But other than that, it's still very, very special time to be gathered together like that. So hopefully yours is a good one and a safe one too. But what also comes this Sunday is the first Sunday in Advent. Now that excites me. I hope you get your Advent wreaths out and get ready to light that first candle. It's a time when we think and look ahead toward Christmas and think about Jesus coming as that child in Bethlehem. Now, a lot of people, they gripe and groan that you shouldn't be celebrating Christmas during Advent. Don't sing any Christmas carols. Don't sing any Christmas songs. Focus on Jesus coming in Bethlehem. Well, don't we do that in some of our songs? Isn't it a joyful time? Yeah, it should be. But it's also a penitential time. Advent was meant to be a time to reflect. Reflect on our lives as God's people. Where have we fallen short? What can we do better? How can we rely more on God's strength to get us through, especially these difficult times? Well, our first lesson for today talks about difficult times. And what's good about this is we can read into it and see ourselves in here. It's a lament. It's a lament written by Isaiah because, well, things just haven't turned out the way they thought they would, and now it's kind of a complaint, so to speak, thrown up toward God. It's a bit of poetry that covers all of or most of chapter 63, moving into a good chunk of chapter 64 of Isaiah. But here's the deal. How do we understand these laments? I mean, especially a prophet like Isaiah, it's kind of all over the place, and depending on where you're reading from in the book, it's what's going on here. Well, it's helpful to remember that Isaiah is a little unique among some of the books of the Old Testament in that we've pretty much identified that there's three different prophets who actually wrote this book. They lived at three different times during the life of the people of Israel. You have what's called First Isaiah, that's the first 39 chapters, Second Isaiah, that's 40 through 55, and then Third Isaiah, 56 through 66. If you can kind of keep that in mind, then you realize that, hey, this first guy was writing before the people were carried off into captivity there in the 8th century BC. Then the second one was writing from captivity while they were going through the difficult times in Babylon. And the third one is writing after that remnant of people who were carried off into Babylon were allowed to come back. Now, it's true that probably all those people were born in captivity, but still they're excited. They get to come back. They get to rebuild the temple and fortify the city again and once again become God's people in God's land with God in his holy house again, the temple. Only things didn't go all that great. There was a lot of dissension between those who had been left behind from the original captivity and those who now were allowed to return home. The people coming back from captivity thought they had the pure and true religion, and the truth be told, they probably had it better theologically than the ones who were left there. But in other things, politically and economically, just didn't go the way they thought it would. And they were bummed out. And so was the author, Third Isaiah. He was bummed out. And so this is a lament. And we've seen laments before, especially when we get into the Psalms. Oh, life is just awful. Things didn't turn out the way we would. God, oh, this is your fault. God, help us. God, please be there for us. Lift us up again. All those sorts of things. And some of that goes on in this lament. It's a beautiful bit of poetry. As I mentioned, it covers chapter a lot of chapter 63 and moves into chapter 64, which is our reading for this Sunday, first Sunday in Advent. And the first part in chapter 63, which we don't read, kind of butters up God a little bit, like, hey, don't you remember all the good things that you did for us as your people? And goes through a little bit of a litany and a history of God's saving works for the people coming out of Egypt, out there in the wilderness, blah, 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 how we moved into the promised land and all those really tough times that you pulled us through. And now it moves into the fact that, hey, where are you? What are you doing for us now, God? And our passage opens up with, oh, that you would tear open the heavens and come down. Like, where have you been? You've kind of abandoned us. We're looking for you. We're looking for help from you, God. Where are you? And it comes in like a threefold demand, so to speak, of God. Tear open those heavens. Come on down here. And then shake the mountains. Let them tremble. Remember, it did that when Moses went up on Mount Sinai and he got the 10 Commandments? Anytime Moses went up on the mountain, it was shaking and quaking. And everybody would look and go, whoa, what's going on? That Yahweh, man, he is something. That Yahweh is the Lord. Okay, so you have that crying out to, let's do that again. And what's the purpose of coming down, ripping open the heavens, making the mountains shake? It's so that you can give it to our enemies. You can tell them who's in charge, and it's you. And you can get everything squared away again, put us back on top of the mountain, so to speak. But as the lament goes on, there's a realization that, yeah, we've met the enemy, and the enemy is us. It's not just those who are pecking away at us from all different countries, and it's us. Yes, God, there's a realization there in this lament that we have failed. Yes, we're sinners, but now there's another threefold little plea going up to God. And the first one is, please don't be too angry with us, okay? Don't remember our sin forever. Please don't do that. And remember, God, remember all that stuff I just said previously. We are your people. You've been here for us before. Be here for us now. And I like what kind of comes at the end, too. It's this little caveat that gets thrown in there. Yeah, we confess that we're your people. Yeah, we've messed up. But don't remember, this is partially your fault, too. You hid your face from us. And when you did that, we fell into sin. We forgot all about you. Don't we always try to blame God for a lot of things that happen in our lives? Yeah, we do. I mean, things are no different now than they were way back then. This would be, we are talking 2.5 millennium ago, 2,500 years ago. Things haven't changed much, right? When things go bad, try to blame somebody. Don't ever look at yourself and see your own shortcomings. Let's blame God. Well, that's kind of what they were doing. But at the same time, this is not a unique plea. We see it time and time in Scripture. God, remember who you are. You are the one who created us. In fact, the prophet gets into that. You're the one who molded us, right? Remember Jeremiah said the same thing. You are the potter, we are the clay. Maybe take that lump of clay, squish it all back together and remake us into your people. That is a good plea for us, especially in the difficult times we're going through, not only in our country, but around the world with the pandemic and the economic hardship and the social and psychological hardships, the personal struggles that we go through because of the pandemic. We are hurting, and we do plead to God, come down, give us your aid, give us your help, give us a sign of your presence. God will do it. God is doing it. He's present with us. in the lives, in the hearts, in the words, in the actions of those around us, those who love and care for us. And as we go out, we become the presence of God in the lives of those around us who are also crying out for help. Good text to open Advent, the first Sunday in Advent. So hopefully you can be a part of a worshiping community somewhere. If not, Zoom it, FaceTime it, do something. Be there and involve yourself. Dive into the scripture. Become part of the lament. Well, God's blessings be with you. Don't fill up too much on that pumpkin pie. You want to save room for the day after for leftovers. Blessings be with you this day.